With the Charlie Kirk investigation, we will go through 7 distraction people. And this will be interesting about what's going on and kind of unique standing out on this. None of this is saying that these people did anything illegal or immoral. It's just a matter of there's some interesting aspects of this that are worth looking at. And we'll go through 7 of them. So the fact that there's 7 is interesting, and we'll go through this. When there's an intelligence service operation, one really big sign that jumps out will be if there's a white rabbit or 2. And a white rabbit is a distraction. They often call them a decoy rabbit. And the idea there is that when things are going down and it's very real-time intense, then to get people focused on this distraction shiny object, and then intelligence people can get away. If they end up acting somewhat different than the normal crowds, they can end up kind of not being noticed. Cameras will not be pointing at them. They'll be pointing at the shiny object and so on. So there's a long history of this, many decades or 100 years of this. And so over here are books by intelligence services. There's a long list of them, and then they talk about these decoy rabbits are important. And so this is some references here. With this video to be more of a short video, I'll go quickly. It's often worth to come back and go through and read all the slides. A lot of content I put in the slides. Over here are historic examples of these white rabbits, and we'll go into the details of this. Now, if you come over here, and again, not to say that any of these people knew about the assassination ahead of time or that they worked with intelligence services, but intelligence service can often rope things in without people necessarily knowing about it. First one is George Zinn. A lot of people know about him, so I won't spend too much time on him. Here's is what he said, and then over here you'll see what newspapers said about that, and they talked about him very kind of almost intentionally being a distraction. And the thing there is not just a distraction, but more importantly to grab local law enforcement and have them pulled up, be tied up, and allocate them, a block of them, where they have to spend hours completely on that, right at the critical moments. And so law enforcement is unable to have their attention on or move over to where they should. And so over here is an interesting fact about him. Some people have talked about him being at the marathon bombing thing, and I don't know if that's true or not. But I'll call out the one here, which is Salt Lake City Marathon. And what he did here, it became a real jailable offense. So this became pretty serious here, and he received probation in this case because of his plea deal here. But this is just an interesting little thing to know about. Now, over here on the other side of the planet, 30 days or so before, there was Google searches going on for him, it appears, and that includes his middle name, which makes him rather unique. So these Google searches are an interesting factor from a different part of the planet than he probably was at, and this might say other people. It might say an interesting thing of where. And then also the fact that it's predating. With the investigation, what I've seen in clustering is there was some early prep at the November-December 2023 just to get some things in place in case they were going to need to do this. And then I found a really peak time for the second wave of planning was in June, July, and some August. And in that case, they seem to be putting in a track that they would do it unless they can have him capitulate at the last minute. So then through June, July, especially June and July and August, there were massive pressure on events for him to capitulate. And then eventually there's an kind of intense September last kind of sign off, and it happened. So these clustering of these times is all kind of aligning with those. If you come back and go slower, I'll go fast for speed. Here is a map of places and various things. And somebody else created that. It was really great work there. I'll come back to when an intelligence service operation happens of some scale, white rabbits will often appear. And if your job is to go hunt down management above that white rabbit, then you want to kind of use this kind of process here. And so those are just important things to go look at. Now, all the people I talked about, let's say none of them knew anything beforehand, none of them did anything immoral, anything illegal. A lot of it could end up being they might research somebody who doesn't know and then line it up where they're at the right place, the right time. Then they go send the police there to go tie up the police. The person that's the kind of the unwitting victim has no idea about it, kind of becomes a white rabbit unknowingly. But the thing there we want to trace back to is who told the law enforcement to go after them? What was their excuse? Does it turn out to be bald-faced lies? And we basically want to shoot up the management chain. Who did that law enforcement RFPI person work with? Who did they get authorized by? Who are they communicating with? Walk up the chain, follow up the chain. So I'm tracking censorship on X and other places. And the main thing is, if you report on anything lining up to intelligence services, it goes aggressively on this issue, on getting this impacted this way. So please use the repost button. My videos never get anywhere because I'm so censored on this stuff. That's the only way it ever gets anywhere. If you find this to be valuable. These over here, I have a long list of videos, not that long, but I have videos that they're like this. This one goes super in depth on exactly this Charlie Kirk September event, and it's over my YouTube. You'll probably never see them unless you go there, and those will go in depth on effectively how can we, you in being helpful, to get these hard facts that the citizen investigators are documenting, me included, then have them as mechanisms to go be able to have them latch onto the toe of any intelligence service hiding in the shadows, drag them out on without their permission into the public. I'm coming up with my software engineering background, coming up with a number of things I'll be launching and making it where citizens can end up having power to go get to the truth. Thomas Massey passed a law against a bad guy from an island, and that law is forcing out files. So the thing here is, this is other things that we as citizens can go to have power on. One is AI Attorney, just open source project, free, and I've been using that. I built it internally. I'll be releasing that over time. I use it to go chase down research, especially legal, and it's been very, very powerful. And there's that. The second one is preventing censorship. I'm finding people across the Charlie Kirk investigation site on X as having the same quieting problem. And if people go look at anything beyond the narrative that's allowed, then their account gets locked. They basically don't start to not appear on for other people at all, or very limited. And so it's a big issue here. That's why the reposts are super critical. And then a movie I'll be working on, and then there'll be other things to go have it where we can go pull out what's going on behind the scenes. My other videos over there, I'll go show these, and you can go see those. That's the first video. Here's the second video, and there's a ton in those videos. It's kind of like this one. I cover a ton. And here's a third video, a lot in that video. Definitely go over to the account. My email address is here. You can contact me. Videos are important there, and follow me if you want to. And this is what I worked on presenting to you today. Have a wonderful day.